What's up, guys? Terry here for Rev3 Games, and you probably thought we were done with all the Borderlands 2 coverage, but you would be wrong. So very wrong. I've got John Hemingway here with me. He is the game designer of Borderlands 2, and you also created all of the skill trees in the game, is that right?
I did. I should say one of game designers. It takes a lot of game designers to make a game like Borderlands. I don't want to take all the credit.
Arguably the most important one, but
I'll go with that.
Decided at a later date. And today we're going to be talking about Gaige the Mechromancer, which is the kind of first piece of DLC for Borderlands 2. This hits, well, I guess not stores. It hits XBLA and PSN and PC on October 16th. It's going to be $10, and it'll also be free if you pre-ordered it. Let's check out some of the skill trees here. You want to lead us through what we got?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first we should start at the action skill, right? So one of the things that Gage gets that's unique is she gets this ability to summon a Deathtrap. It's a big, huge robotic death machine to come and fight all the bad guys for. One thing that's unique here is that some Deathtrap has a 60-second cooldown, which is the longest cooldown of any of the skills in Borderlands 2. But Deathtrap is exceptionally strong. He can take a lot of punishment, he'll stay out for a long duration and kill a lot of enemies for you. So we've got, the first one we're going to talk about is Best Friends Forever. Now, the idea behind this skill tree is, let's say that you love Borderlands and you have a friend who you'd like to share.
A girl or a boyfriend.
A girl or a boyfriend. It could be of either gender, gender irrelevant, that you would like to share this game with. And so, but maybe they haven't played a first-person shooter before. This skill tree has a lot of thought put into it about how to help players over those initial hurdles just so that they can get into a first-person shooter and get into Borderlands. So the first skill that we should talk about, this is one of the first skills you can get. It's called Close Enough. Makes so whenever you shoot your gun, if you miss a bad guy and then the bullet hits the ground or wall or tree or whatever, there's a chance that it just ricochets off and hits the bad guy anyway and does some damage. At its surface, you go, oh, this is to help new players aim the gun, and that's true. But the point of this tree is not easy mode. The point of the tree is to help players over the hurdles and then get them into that first-person shooter mode where they're doing all the awesome things that everyone else is doing. So the cool thing about Close Enough is that the advanced players love this skill as well because they'll pull off all sorts of interesting tricks. So for example, you're hiding behind cover, waiting for your shields to charge. People will just take pot shots around the corner and their bolts will ricochet and hit bad guys. All sorts of neat little tricks you can do with it. This is the other skill that you can get right off the bat. It's called Cooking Up Trouble. Now, what this does is whenever your magazine is full, you regenerate health. Now, health is always really important for a new player. You've got to stay alive. And so a lot of the things in the Best Friends Forever skill tree are about survival. Now, where this one's really fun is that it affects on what gun you're going to use. So advanced players will often take this with like a Jacobs shotgun, something with a really small magazine, and that means that in the middle of the fight, as soon as they've entered the magazine, they reload, they get a few more seconds of health regeneration before they fire the next shot, and they can kind of help keep their health up. So scattered throughout her trees are these little one-point wonders. So we'll start with go to Buck Up here. So Buck Up is a one-point wonder where it unlocks a new ability for Deathtrap. And if you have this skill, every once in a while, Deathtrap will just turn to you and he'll recharge your shields for you if you're in trouble. Another one, if you get out of the clapping hands, this is another one that's like that. This is Explosive Clap. Deathtrap will open his arms up really wide and he'll, bam, smash them together and cause a huge explosion that causes enemies to go flying, does a whole bunch of damage. And these skills are scattered throughout all three of her trees. Now, we love skills that affect the decision of what gear you want to use. So if you go down to the very, very bottom, there's this skill called Sharing is Caring. It makes it so whatever shield you have equipped, Deathtrap gets a copy of that shield. Now, where that's really fun is, let's say you equip something like a Fire Nova shield. Well, now he's got a Fire Nova shield. He charges up, he's a melee robot, so he charges up right in the middle of the bad guys. They take some shots at him, drop his shields. It explodes, lights them all on fire, and you're happy and you go collect some loot. So good times. Another really popular one on him is to get a melee shield, the melee shield is whenever your shields are depleted, you deal bonus melee damage. And so Deathtrap, being lots of melee damage, he'll go and destroy everything for you. So this is Upshot Robot. This is, I like to think of this as the robot rampage skill. What it is whenever you have Deathtrap out, if he kills anything, it increases the duration that he's going to be out, and then it also gives him bonus melee damage. And this can stack an unlimited number of times as long as he can keep getting kills. And so he just keeps getting stronger and stronger. So if you can get him in the right situation with the correct number of enemies, he'll just keep killing and getting stronger and just go on a massive rampage for you and just murder everything.
So if you like to run and gun and just run out into open crowds full of enemies, that'd be obviously the optimal place to use something like that, right?
Yes, absolutely perfect for that.
So we just put a good number of points into our Best Friends Forever skill tree, and we're going to take it out there and see how it works.
All right, let's go find us some robots. We can kill them up. There we go.
Lots of robots in this area.
So many robots. There we go. Explosive Clap. jibs that guy, clears out some of the weaker enemies, and really goes to town.
I'm surprised by how powerful Deathtrap is. Would you say he's more powerful than any of the other characters' action skills?
Because he has a really long cooldown, he is very, very powerful. I mean, every skill, we want there to be a certain utility with all the skills, so they all just really have very different gameplay to them. Like the closest thing to Deathtrap is really the Commando's turret, but even then, the gameplay of where you put the turret and how you use it and the damage output of the turret is much higher than Deathtrap. So this guy is much more of he's almost playing a support role to you, where he's going to charge in the middle, take some of the heat off you, and let you deal some damage.
Yeah, and it's nice that he can also reach those higher enemies, like the flying ones also, right?
Yeah, he's completely automated. He'll just go track down anything, and he'll actually travel right through walls to go kill the bad guys.
What a dedicated pet. I need one of those.
If you're going to have a pet, it should be,
Yeah,
it should be a big
seriously.
hulking robot. So let's see, some explosive clap. If you take some damage here, you can get your shields low, and he'll just immediately turn on you and charge up your shields. Yeah, why don't you charge in there?
If you have the upshot robot skill enabled, would it be a good tactic to just kind of get a lot of these guys down to half health and then have him finish them off so he can prolong his cooldown?
Oh, absolutely. You can. I mean, that bonus melee damage will stack infinitely as long as he can keep getting kills. So as long as he keeps doing that, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and it also increases his duration. So one thing we've seen people do is they do exactly that, and then what they do is they get him as strong as they can, and then they sprint as fast as they can to the next fight, and then just let Deathtrap just go on a rampage and kill them all.
All right, so let's check out some of the skills in the Little Big Trouble tree. What's this one about?
So this is her elemental damage skill tree, and it's specifically shock-themed. We haven't had a shock-themed character in Borderlands up until now, and Mechromancer being a techie character just seemed like a really nice fit. So I'll actually start off with my very favorite one. Go down two skills right here. We're at Electrical Burn. What this does is whenever you deal electrocute status effect, so you use a shock weapon and electrocute them, whenever you deal that type of damage, there's a chance that the enemy just bursts into flames and then starts taking fire damage. So you sort of get a 2-for-1 elemental damage anytime you're using a shock weapon. Now the fun thing about this tree is there's a lot of things that'll combo off of that. So if you go up one here, we're going to go, here's Shock Storm. So this is anytime you kill an enemy with a critical hit, or anytime Deathtrap kills an enemy, it's going to cause this large AoE electrical storm that just sort of hovers in the air for a couple seconds. Now this deals electrical damage, which means that can proc electrical burn, so you can cause even more fire damage. So it's great. Enemies group up, you score a headshot, all get electrocuted, and then they all light on fire, and then they all die. Now another fun one that combos off of all those is go to the mid-tier 1.1. This is called Shock and and that's how you have to say it. It's required. But what it does is every time you reload your gun, it causes an electrical explosion nearby and damages all nearby enemies. So added damage is always fun, but the really fun thing about this is it changes the way you play the game. Because normally when you're reloading, you're running away. And like, oh no, get away, don't kill me, I gotta finish reloading my gun. If you have this skill, you're now running at the enemy while reloading, so you can make sure that they're gonna get electrocuted. Mm-hmm. So we love all the skills that change the way you sort of view the game and what's good and what's bad. Some of the abilities for Deathtrap in this tree, if you go up one here, this is the Stare. And Deathtrap will fire a big laser beam out of his eye, and he'll melt enemies and light them on fire, which is useful.
That's cool.
Now if you go down 2 and over 1, here we go, this is 1-2 boom. Now this is a sort of a combo ability with Deathtrap. What Deathtrap does is he'll put together an orb of energy and then shoot it out, and now there's this slow moving ball of electrical energy traveling towards the enemy. And so what happens is if you shoot that ball of energy, it'll explode into a massive AoE that just does tons and tons of damage. So that's one that you really kind of have to be paying attention to Deathtrap and watch for when he does that, so you can pull off that 1-2 combo.
Is he only capable of dealing shock damage?
He is, no, if you go down to the very bottom tree, here we go, we have a skill called Make It Sparkle. And what it does is when Deathtrap's out, you can shoot him with an elemental weapon to make him sparkle, and then he will inherit the element of that weapon. So, I want him to be fire today. Nice. And then he'll go on a fire rampage. Oh, I need some slag today. I'll go on a slag rampage. So with that skill, you can get him to deal whatever elemental damage you need for the situation.
That's awesome.
Let's get Shock Storm, let's get that. We definitely want Electrical Burn. You'll want the reloading one, and then 1-2 boom. There you go. That'll show off nicely. All right, so here's Deathtrap. Now, if you notice, Deathtrap looks a little different here. Depending on what skills you buy, Deathtrap's appearance changes.
Huh.
So, yeah, we felt it was. Oh, there we go. We'll go kill that guy.
Go, Deathtrap.
Oh, where's Deathtrap? He picked someone else apparently. There he goes.
He's a little sleepy.
So there's your electrical storm because he got the killing blow. Now Deathtrap is off to go find another victim. Oh, there's the orb. Well, we're in a better situation. Oh, no, you still got him. You got him. Beautiful. So kill him with a headshot and you can get the electrical storm. There we go.
So that's damaging enemies around him also?
Yep, so that damages the enemies around him. And then that's also because he's on fire, it's because it procs the other skill of electrical burn. So, and there we go. That electrical explosion right there is because he reloaded his gun. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. All kinds of AoE and just dot damage.
All of the elements coming together. So we've got the last tree here, Ordered Chaos, which is kind of the most hardcore one, right?
Yeah. If you've been playing a lot of Borderlands and you're looking for something new and fresh in the game, this is absolutely the skill tree for you.
Tell me what the Anarchy skill is.
So Anarchy, that's a big chunk of text. A lot of the skills in Ordered Chaos actually center around Anarchy. And this is a skill that you can get at level 6. If you want to start going down this path. Now what Anarchy is anytime you kill an enemy or anytime you fully empty your magazine and then reload, you get a stack of Anarchy. And you can get up to 150 stacks. If you get some other skills, you can increase that cap limit. But what this does is for every stack of Anarchy you have, you deal increased damage. But also for every stack you have, you have decreased accuracy. And so now with 150 stacks, you get, I think it's plus 0.175 damage per stack. So at 150 stacks, you're doing a bazillion damage and murdering everything. But the thing is, you're so inaccurate, you have to get really, really close. And so what it does is it starts to encourage this very risk versus reward gameplay. You want to get in close and kill things as quickly as you possibly can.
Are any of the other skills in this particular branch, do they also kind of force you to get up close and personal with the enemies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the tree is going to combo off of that. Now, one of the things we love about this tree is that generally, we like to take the game concepts and sort of flip them on their head. And so generally you want a very large magazine size, as many bullets as you can possibly hold. But for gaining Anarchy stacks, you want a very small magazine size, because the quicker you can go through your magazines, the quicker you can get your stacks. So what this other skill here, smaller, lighter, faster, actually decreases your magazine size. So, and that's what a lot of this tree is going to do. It takes some general game concepts and kind of flips them on their head. So if you go to the one that looks like a shield with it's all bloody, this is called Blood-Soaked Shields. What this does, and this goes to what you were talking about with encouraging that really aggressive gameplay, every time you kill an enemy, it will, at 5 out of 5 points, it will instantly restore your shield to full. But every time you kill an enemy, you also lose a percentage of your current health. Now this skill will never kill you, but it does eat into your health. Now what it does though is if there's a big group of enemies, you charge in, and as long as you can keep scoring killing blows, your shields pop back up to full and it'll absorb some more damage, and then you get it again and again and again. And it lets you play this very aggressive style of gameplay. Now when you combine that with a whole bunch of Anarchy stacks, you're just a killing machine. Let's see here, let's go down, now let's go down one more. And this is, here we go, Discord, that's what I'm looking for. So Discord, so let me say one more thing about Anarchy. When you have Anarchy stacks, if you prematurely reload your gun before your gun is empty, you can get rid of all your Anarchy stacks. So if you're in a situation where you desperately need your accuracy back and need it right now, you're empowered to do so. But now what Discord does is it makes it so if you prematurely reload your gun and you have Anarchy stacks, it turns on this buff called Discord, which what it does is it gives you a bunch of fire rate, it gives you a bunch of accuracy, and you start regenerating health every second. Oh. So you sort of get this super buff on top of whatever Anarchy stacks you have, but what it does is for every second, it starts consuming your Anarchy stacks. So you can only have it going for so long. And so what happens is you start playing this game of where you're managing your Anarchy stacks. Like how much damage do I want versus how much accuracy do I want? You know, like, oh, here's a big boss, I better turn on Discord and then go and kill him. So let's go down one more and then go down, let's see, yeah, nope, to the left here, Rational Anarchist. So this one is, whenever you are at 0 stacks of Anarchy, if you get an Anarchy stack, it'll instantly bump you up to 25. Now, where this is important is, so far we've seen that there's generally two types of anarchy players. One really loves to be at the very high number of stacks, and so they're doing tons and tons of damage, but they have to get in really close. And this other player, they don't really like the inaccuracy, they like to stay further back, and so what they do is you get a rational anarchist and combine it with Discord, and what you're doing is you're letting your stacks go down to 0 through Discord, and then you hurry and get one stack, which actually bumps it to 25, and you can re-trigger Discord, and you can sort of hover around the sort of lower period, and so or lower number of anarchy stacks with a higher amount of accuracy, but still get all these bonuses. So there's one more let's talk about here. So this is Death from Above. One of the things that's really common amongst hardcore first-person shooter players is bunny hopping, and we wanted a skill that sort of encouraged that behavior. So what Death from Above does is anytime you're in the air and you shoot an enemy, it'll consume a number of anarchy stacks and causes a digesplosion, and just immediately deals an AoE and does a bunch of damage to the enemies nearby, which gives you one more way to sort of consume those anarchy stacks in a gameplay way. So let's take a look at these.
Initiate some ordered chaos here.
Absolutely. So yeah, so he's got 19 anarchy stacks right now. So he just hit up to 20. So he jumped up in the air and shot the guy, which triggered off Death from Above. So it consumed 5 of his stacks. Did a quick burst of damage. Let's see here. Oh, where'd he go? So what he did there is he just triggered off Discord, which is, yeah, there we go. Oh, he just turned it off. So you can trigger Discord on and off by prematurely reloading your gun. But we should let everyone see the artwork. I love the artwork on this.
Skulls?
Yep, little flowery, little fun little skull things. So she's kind of a cutesy but dark cutesy girl. So yeah, there's some unicorns there if you look closely.
Oh wow, I wouldn't have even noticed.
Yep, there you go.
That's adorable.
But yeah, this is a skill tree that's really fun because if you do go after the high number of anarchy stacks, it's something that is slowly changing the nature of your game over an hour or two. Like there's another skill in here, I don't think we showed it, called pre-shrunk cyberpunk, which increases the anarchy stack limit. And so eventually you can get up to like 450 stacks or something like that.
Goodness.
So now if you decide to go that route, you can play this really long-term power gain game where, over the course of an hour, maybe 2 hours, you're just slowly building up stacks, and your damage is getting higher and higher, and you kind of get into this weird maniacal state, like, I'm just so powerful. But then it just slowly builds up. But then, with that type of gameplay, it's such high risk or reward. If you make one mistake and you die and you lose all those anarchy stacks, like if you respawn, they go back down to 0. But it's this really fun, like, just slow burn of building power, which is something that we really haven't seen in Borderlands before.
Is that something that you intended to do when you created these skill trees, or was just kind of an offshoot?
It was certainly not the initial design, but as soon as we started building the tree, we discovered that was really where the fun was, and so we doubled down on that, and that's what we're making.
How do you even think to create something like that?
That's a good question. I wish I knew. A lot of it is you keep thinking of new things to do, like oh, I tried that. Let's put a twist on this. Let's put a twist on this. So the idea of doing lots of stacking gameplay, like stacking buffs and things, isn't something that we really existed. And so we started off building something fairly simple, and it turned into this crazy anarchy skill tree where it's all about like. Everyone has a game where you stack up to 5. Let's have a game where you stack up to 150. How about 450?
So that is Gaige the Mechromancer, first official piece of DLC for Borderlands 2. John, thank you so much for leading us through it.
Thank you.
Looks great. This is launching, like I said, on October 16th for $10 or free if you've pre-ordered it. Make sure you're subscribed here to Rev3 Games and to youtube.com/dtoid, where we're going to have, I think, maybe 1 or 2 more videos on some other Borderlands 2 DLC. No spoilers yet. See you next time.